I'm bored. Let's see what kind of hateful stuff we can find on the internet today. All right, so we hadn't talked about Anna, that Star Wars girl, in a while, and I saw a few people on Twitter interacting with this post, sharing it, so I bookmarked it. I was like, let me check it out. So here she is talking about LA Comic-Con. She goes, here are some of the panels listed at LA Comic-Con. Just putting this out there, right? Gay geeks and where to find them. Okay, so it's a specialty panel for gay geeks and where to find them. Don't see the problem with that. Afro weirdness and the urban superhero, 18 plus. So this is for adults specifically. And it's another specialty panel. Okay, what's the problem? Trans masculine representation and entertainment. Okay, another specialty panel. I don't see an issue with it. What is the issue with this? Queer sci-fi on a budget, DIY world building for indie creators. Okay, it's an indie creator panel for budgets, for sci-fi on a budget that is queer-centric. Don't see a problem with that. Queer cartoonists tackle the world of sports and come out and play the Queer Sports Project with it's got a bunch of people here on the panel. What is the problem with this? What is the problem with other groups wanting to exist in the world and meet other people like themselves in the world in a panel specifically for this topic? What's the problem with this? Where is the issue? Look, I'm just going to be very frank with this one. The only reason you would have an issue with this is if you are a bigot. That's the only reason. Why would you pull these out, point out these panels, not to mention the fact that the framing of this is pretty irresponsible when you have a large platform, but fuck that, I guess. Fuck that from these folks. So she calls this out, and I'm thinking there has to be another reason. Look, I mean, they say hateful stuff all the time without any reason, but I feel like this one was very specific. So I started following the path to figure out where this came from, and it led me to this. Chris Gore over here crying about LA Comic-Con. I've done 3 or more panels every year since Comic-Con LA launched, and they were always packed. Unfortunately, this is the second year in a row that all my panels have been rejected. I applaud LA Comic-Con for their inclusive programming. I just wish I'd been included. And I wondered which one came first. Did she know about this situation with Chris, and this is why she posted this, or is this connected to just being hateful for no reason? For pointing out, hey, look, people that want to exist in the world that have panels at Comic-Con, I'm going to call them out for what fucking reason? Who knows? Who knows? But Chris, there's probably a reason why. There's probably a reason why they're not fucking with you anymore. And it has to do with who you are aligning yourself with and the kind of behavior you have. And by the way, if you want people to feel sorry for you being canceled, if that's your opinion, then maybe you shouldn't make videos like this. Maybe you shouldn't make videos cheering about the government going after actual free speech and making it seem like it was some sort of victory, and then going after Disney when Disney makes the right decision to put Kimmel back on the air, and then Nexstar and Sinclair all fucking turn on that. They all turn on it. They're like, we can't fuck with this because we're going to lose money, so they switch it up too. But you make videos like this pretending like it's okay for companies to get rid of people when you don't like them, because be clear here, Chris Gore is not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. So this isn't just some random by chance. Like, go back and look up the history. Not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. So in other words, it didn't matter. The reason why behind this didn't matter. He didn't give a fuck. He was cheering it on anyway when he should have been standing on the same side as free speech. So I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if you feel a certain kind of way because Comic-Con didn't want to include you when you do not stand for free speech. That's how this works. It's how it works for me now. Since this is the game we're playing, since this is what we're doing on social media, and it's totally acceptable to have that stance, my stance is, if you don't give a fuck about it, I don't give a fuck about it. Specifically for you. Specifically for you. If you are someone who says you believe in free speech and then every chance you get to cheer on actual free speech oppression, then I don't give a fuck when they come for you. That is my new motto going forward. And I don't care if that bothers people. I don't care if Chris Gore is not getting allowed to be at LA Comic-Con. I don't give a fuck. And this isn't even a free speech issue. This is simply them not wanting to fuck with him. And I can see it. I can envision it because in my mind, I'm like, would I fuck with this person if they were doing this? No. The answer is no, I would not. And most of y'all wouldn't either. I don't hang around with assholes who are bigoted and hateful and spout all this rah-rah shit and cheer on the bootlicking of the government. I'm not down for that. Not down for that. And Anna over here doing this. Let's jump back to Anna for a second because I've got more to say on this. You're acting like this is a problem. Why is this a problem, Anna? Do you think that this kind of stuff, specialized panels, some of them listed as 18 plus, you think these aren't appropriate for whatever reason? However, this is how you're going out to Comic-Con. Now, my motto has been not to shame people for stuff like this because I support people expressing themselves. I support people being able to go out and do whatever it is they feel comfortable doing as long as they're expressing themselves in a way that is authentic and real. I'm totally down with that. However, in 2025, because these fucks are now on this shit as well, you can't tell me that you care about something because you're worried about who might stumble into it or what kids might think and this, that, and the other. When you are going to Comic-Con dressed in what is tantamount a bikini, and then you're like, oh my God, there's a panel about gay people. But look at what you're wearing to Comic-Con to wear around all day long. I don't have a personal problem with this look. I think this is fine, but I'm also not somebody advocating that there's an issue with queer people having specialized panels at Comic-Con. Some of them labeled 18 plus, meaning they're not intended for kids to come into anyway. That is not my stance on this at all. That is her stance. And she's, look, right here. Queer sci-fi on a budget. How do you bring a queer sci-fi project to life without a studio? In this conversation, filmmaker and VFX artist Alden Peters shares how we built a wildly imaginative film series that blends speculative fiction with identity, history, and chosen family. Using tools like Blender, DIY green screen, and iPhone-based virtual production, he offers practical insights and creative strategies for crafting expansive visual worlds on an indie budget. You'll leave all fired up, full of new tricks, and ready to make weird queer art with whatever you've got. What's wrong with that? What the fuck is wrong with that? This is bigoted, homophobic shit. And moving forward, if you have a problem with me saying that, too bad. Too bad. I'm over it. I'm above over it. Fed up with this kind of shit. It's getting worse because now they are struggling to find actual problems with things. So now it's just flat out homophobia. It's no longer like, oh, well, what if this is an issue with children or what? No, we're not even doing that anymore. Now we're dressing up as Slave Leia, but then complaining that a totally appropriate panel for queer entertainment exists. That's where we're at. That's the bar now. My last statement on this is take all of this pearl-clutching bullshit, performative behavior, and shove it all the way up your fucking ass. All the way up, as far as it can go. And fuck Chris Gore as well. I don't care if they don't want to have you there. You have been on the path to getting yourself removed from Comic-Con for a while now. And they finally decided to do it. And normally I'd be like, well, this is wrong. You shouldn't do that because everybody should have a space. Fuck him. You had no problem with the government coming in and putting their boot down on Jimmy Kimmel. So fuck you and fuck Anna's take on this. Have a great Sunday.